extensive experience in home health care. Call us at 888-422-3578. Our team of caring professionals include registered nurses, licensed professional nurses, registered physical, speech, and occupational therapists, medical social workers, and certified nursing assistants. Visit our website at elitehomehealth.com. All employees are subject to detailed background and reference checks. Their team-oriented approach ensures an optimal outcome for all of our patients. For more information, call us at 888-422-3578.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jackie Kelly, and I'm with Elite Home Health, and this is the Elite Home Health Hour. We have some special guests tonight. We have Brittany Seal from South Beach. She's going to give us a little information. And we have Lisa Costa from Elite. And we also have my favorite, I'll let you do your intro, Miss Kelsey.
I'm also with South Beach, Director of Patient Care for Broward.
Yes, so here we go.
Here we go. I don't know why I didn't get to introduce myself, but
Go ahead, Brittany.
no. If you guys remember South Beach Orthotics and Prosthetics, we were here before talking with all of you guys because of Miss Jackie here. Elite is an amazing company in this community that helps give back to everyone, just like us here now today to talk about more about what they do and how they give back to the community. They were actually just telling us about something super cool, so I am going to jump to it because I want to know actually all about it. And they were just telling me about this cool contraption. That's what I'm going to call it at this point.
Cardio Mobile. It's very cool. It's actually a mobile. Our nurses will be carrying this around, and what they can do is do a home EKG, which will detect AFib, which is it's huge. A lot of patients that have heart disease would be good for us to have our nurses check. And also if they're newly diagnosed with congestive heart failure, that's a good patient also to to check. But yeah, we're excited because heart disease is huge.
It's a big one, and
it's a
this
big
is
one.
February, and this is Heart
Yes,
Month.
and AFib as well.
And that's just an amazing service to offer your patients, and just that extra protection and that's to speed the process up and just to be able to do it right there instead of having them go to a doctor. And you can just do everything right there when you see a problem. Like, that's such an amazing service to add on to all
When did
your
you
other
guys
great
start
services.
offering that?
So we just started this program roughly at the beginning of January.
Oh, wow.
All of our nurses, all the way from our Broward office, all the way up to Palm Beach, Stewart, Port St. Lucie, everybody has now been equipped with a cardiomobile. The nurses have a 6 lead. They can actually send the doctor a EKG right there on the spot. So if one of our nurses or one of our patients, they see something and they identify it, they're going to immediately run the EKG and send it to the doctor. Call them. It doesn't matter what time of day. That way we can kind of get in front of it and make sure that we can identify if they're in need or they're having AFib and get them into the hospital or get their medication.
The amount
save
of people that
lives.
you've probably even helped them to not have to go to like a home. They were able to go home because you guys carry that is amazing.
It's actually our new program, and we're loving it. Our owners are nurses, and they always think above and beyond of what they can do to keep our patients healthy and happy and at home. So that is our motto, and there is nothing that we won't definitely supply or definitely try a new program just to get them, to feel more confident of them being home and safe.
Well, and I'll use that to actually illustrate how we formed this connection. They were one of the first home care companies that actually ever came up to us to ask about psych care, to talk back to our patients. They obviously want to help with any home care needs, but they were the first company that said, listen, this is a priority. We know these patients are going through things, and we want to help your patients through anything they need, but most importantly, especially post-COVID, is getting them through these humps within their home. Most patients don't want to go anywhere. They're homebound, so they're actually stuck at home. So for your company to be able to come and do that, but actually seek help and want to give that was just an amazing. And this again, I was like, I promise this was not staged. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just sat down with this little contraption. It's amazing to me. We're walking around with thermometers and they've got keep chasing her. Just say it. That is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, and actually the psych portion of what we do is so important. We've identified that even through the last year, which has been hard and tough on so many families and so many of our patients, we definitely noticed depression and anxiety and all of those, changes and being home all the time, right? We used to be a lot more social and we used to be able to do a lot of things, activities, see our family, and even in different places, patients are not able to maybe do their everyday routine or their everyday activities. So being able to send a psych nurse in and help them get through those different moments is so important. We have at least always a psych nurse available, even on the weekends. And we have about 5 or 6 that absolutely specialize in psych. And I think our DON is also, he came from the psych world. So it works out
amazing.
beautifully.
And that's extra important specifically for our patients, because the amputee community, I mean, everybody's been stuck at home, but they're just even more isolated, I feel like. And so having that extra service available for them has been a huge benefit for our patients that we're able to refer to Elite. Because like you were saying, I mean, this past year has been incredibly hard on everybody, but I feel like it's hit the amputee community even harder, just because they're already kind of stuck at home, and now just with everything else that they have to deal with on top of that, and just having that service available has been really beneficial for us too. And I know our patients have really responded well, and sometimes they need that extra counseling. We have our own amputee counselors, but it's a different kind of
That's
help.
just about the amputation.
That's just
not
about the amputation, not
yeah.
about the overall. So it's great that we have because I'm not sure if everyone tuned in last time we were on.
You
but
missed it.
It was a fantastic show. I was listening.
But we had one of our and all of our counselors, all of our consultants, they're amputees. So they walk them through the process of becoming an amputee, but having that actual psych evaluation and the psychiatric help. It's just between the two of them, or between the two of us, they really have it covered, and it's been really beneficial.
Now, let me ask you, for our patients, obviously they call us or we call you guys. What if someone was watching this and listening at home and they're like, okay, my loved one could definitely use this service? How would they go about
So we
reaching out?
would definitely recommend that you can call any one of our offices. You can call here to the radio station as well, and we'll put that number up shortly. If you were in Broward, you would want to call our main office, which is 954-267-9049 or 9029, and our fax number is 9049. Here at the radio show, you can call in at 1-888-565-1470. If you are in Palm Beach or in the Martin St. Lucie, you can call in Palm Beach at 561-509-5800. In the Martin St. Lucie area, you would call in at 772-214-3300.
Even if they just have questions?
Even if they have questions, we have a full intake. We have plenty of, all of our offices have lots of nice people that can answer questions, because a lot of people may not understand what is, home care or what they are able to get with their benefits. So
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. Now for you, who would be, so now what if they're interested in South Beach?
Forgot about me. I just got so excited. I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but you guys can call me, my actual personal, well, it is for work, but the cell phone 321-831-4992. You can call Kelsey at any point.
954-931-0666.
But
Don't know why they
on
gave
our
me that
Facebook
number.
page, Facebook at South Beach Orthotics and Prosthetics, they have all of our phone numbers there. There's a 1-800 number that even if you just wanted to talk to an amputee counselor, there's an amputee at all times, 24 hours a day, that will answer that phone. There's no pressure. It's completely anonymous. You are within no need to come with South Beach, but if you need to talk to someone, please visit our website, and that information is there. I will get the number for you guys in a moment and get it posted up.
Or if there's someone that
Yes.
who you think could benefit from any part of our service, give us a call. A lot of times what we find within the amputee community is they may need help, but they don't ask for help. So if you know someone, I mean, it's a small portion of our community, but if you know someone and maybe they're not listening today, but you think that, they've been struggling with the amputee or with the amputation, they really haven't been adjusting to life as an amputee well, tell them about us. Let them know that we're here for counseling, for sometimes, depending on if they already got fitted with a prosthetic, they might not have gone through the education about the prosthetic, about how to take care of it or how to don it, sock management. A lot of times they just don't know. So just what we're just trying to do is spread awareness to keep an eye out for that community. And if there's anyone that you think we could help, give us a call.
And I think that can be said honestly across the board.
Yes.
I think
Right.
one of my favorite things with Jackie is we realized there is a big gap between continuity of care. We talked about this the last time as well, is that there are things and there's services and there's people out here to help everyone. And it's just a lack of people saying it's there or knowing about it, and sometimes just asking. The psych, I was like, I had no idea that was actually a service that was offered from a home care company. I'm like, that is amazing. But if I didn't know, and I'm right here in the field, in the industry, dealing with this on a regular basis, how would anybody else
Right.
know?
And most everyone thinks of home care and they only think of skilled nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy. We do speech therapy in all three counties. We do home health aid to help bathe, dress, and help the patient with ADLs. But
Something else that I'm thinking about is that we have social workers. So maybe your patient needs to be guided with
Using her on camera, no one saw it.
for resources within the community that they're not aware of. So we do have
Absolutely.
social workers.
And I
medical
have to
social
tell you, the
workers.
medical social worker has been, we have a handful of them in Broward that I can tell you go above and beyond. There are patients that didn't realize they could get transportation shut up. They could get meals delivered, certain diets, diabetic diets. And there's a lot of elderly patients that don't have maybe family living down here, or they're all by themselves and they don't have the resources to get to the store to stock up, especially if there's an emergency or even just on a weekly basis. So our social worker, and there's one that I absolutely love, so I'm going to give her a shout out. Diane Geronimus is by far the sweetest and nicest social worker I've ever had the privilege to work with. And I can tell you, I get more compliments about her to the fact that it brings me to tears, because she does everything for our patients. She identifies the issue, she spends countless hours with them, and that is more than I can ever wish for from anyone that works. I mean, we're all a team. We have to have continuity of care, but that is super important for me.
Awesome. And so we are going to use that for a quick break. Seemed like the perfect timing. So we'll be back in just a minute and hear from our sponsors on the way out.
Many patients come into the emergency room ill, but not ill enough to meet the hospital criteria for admission. These patients may still need medical follow-up, which our company may provide at home with no cost to qualified patients. Our home health skills services can assist with patient medications, medication teaching and assessment of possible side effects, provide in-home nursing assessment on any patient that you have concerns about, such as elderly patients living alone with limited support systems, or patients that you feel may not be safe at home. Provide patients after a recent fall with an in-home physical therapy evaluation to assess home safety and teach safe ambulation. Provide wound care. Provide disease-specific teaching, and much more. Medicare pays 100% of the cost with no copayments and no deductibles for qualified homebound patients. Call us for more information, 888-422-3578. Elite Home Healthcare Services.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming, as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's A-M-P, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Hi. Well, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So on our little break, obviously we're here together, and we mentioned something that was pretty fantastic that we thought would be a great topic to talk about, which is wound care, which in a mix of diabetes involved in there, especially with the pandemic and COVID. There's been a lot of people stuck at home, and they're avoiding hospitals, and unfortunately that has caused an increase of wound care in the home and with a lot of patients across the state. So why don't you guys tell us about your program, and then we'll dig deeper.
Yeah. So, Lisa, you want to
So-
let them know about our wound care program?
Yeah, I mean, we have fantastic nurses that can provide wound care, diabetic management, which I know that coincides with what you do as well.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times the patients that have wounds also need to be on IV antibiotics. So that's another thing that our nurses can assist with at the home, especially now during this time where maybe they don't want to go to a rehab, so we can provide the service at home in the comfort of home. With COVID, we've seen an increase of patients declining to go into a rehab, wanting to be home. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And we work with various pharmacies. Obviously,
right.
we work with all the big pharmacies, but Health First Infusion has definitely been one of our main people in Broward. Quorum. We work closely with any of the home infusion, and they do the delivery of the medication, and
Okay.
our nurse meets them there and then immediately trains, teaches, and sets it all up for the family, making sure that if anything, there's any kind of hiccup, they're also there every day checking in on it, they're administering it, and it just really does help, because a lot of patients want to be able to leave the hospital environment, get home, and get their medications done in a more, comfortable
Absolutely.
atmosphere.
It just makes you feel like you're getting better. You're at
Yes.
home, you're in your
Yes.
comfort place, and even your family being able to help, and they create a part of that for them to teach
They
them,
do.
and
They
they're
do.
part of the healing.
And we have many nurses who are wound care certified. We have Joel and JP, and our
I
staff
love
is
the
great.
smile when she talks about her staff. That's
I love
just
them. I
amazing.
love them. I can say Lisa and I are definitely, we've been in this field for, I know I have been in over 10 years, and I can tell you that where I work now, it is a family. And everybody
yes.
has to have heart to do this business. So when you find a company that, it's all about the heart, all about the patient, it does make a huge difference.
Yep.
So I
And
know-
it starts at the top with the
our
owners.
owners.
I mean,
yeah.
they're amazing. They're
Yeah.
nurses.
So
They're-
they're both registered nurses, and we're owned and operated by two nurses, Dan and John, that have just done nothing but support us. I can tell you, we were all a little bit nervous when COVID started, and think about it. COVID started really about a year ago this time.
That's right.
Right
I
at,
just said that
We're
was like
right
it's
about
I was
the
just
anniversary.
thinking about that.
St.
This has
Patrick's Day is
been
my
St.
biggest
Patrick's
lock-in.
Day
That's
was
right.
every
They're like, no,
restaurant
I'm
had
like,
shut
what?
down. And it's been a year, and they did not skip a beat. We were doing COVID testing at home from day one. Our nurses and staff have been tested every other week or every week. My owners spared no expense to make sure that everyone had either rapids or swabs, and we aligned ourselves with laboratories to make sure that our staff could be tested because they were not going to take any chances on sending anyone with any, COVID or symptoms into a home. So I don't know about other agencies. All I know is that we have really stuck out in the community
Well,
of
it
doing.
shows. Look at your EKG machine. I mean, that is, and I was talking to our owner earlier, and we kind of said the same things, is that we didn't have to reorganize. We just had to raise the bar, and that's exactly what you guys did. It shows like those companies that already had patient-focused programs. You didn't have to all of a sudden scramble. We just had to say, what can we do better now? How can we actually raise the bar due to this situation? And just seeing this machine that you guys took a time where things were still down, and that's a chance. That's an investment on your patients. That's not about the company. That's, you guys knew they needed it.
Right.
It was like, forget the rest of it.
And the big thing is to keep the patients out of the hospital.
Absolutely.
So being able to provide an EKG or identify AFib is a
That's
way
amazing.
to provide early detection or prevent a hospitalization.
Right. And one of the things, Brittany, I have to say, Kelsey and I have been working together now several months, and I have to tell you, just the bond between all of us and getting to know each other and getting to go out there together and share what we do has also been a great experience.
Oh,
'Cause I know that
absolutely.
we love it. We have a good time with you guys, and it's more about the passion, and we have to have that. If you love what you do, it's going to come naturally. And that is something that I've learned. Not only does your company share that, but we share that as well. We love what we do, so it's going to come out.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
Everything.
that sums it up beautifully. Is we just
Yeah.
love what we do, so it's not even work. And I think that's
Oh, it's
one of the
not.
things that really did bring us together, was because we saw ourselves in each other, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Where it's like I'm fairly new to medical, so I was just kind of getting my bearings and still figuring out just the kind of dynamics. And I've worked with other companies, and none of them has really stood out like you guys had, and none of them went that extra mile that we do every day. So when you find another company that just aligns so perfectly with what you're trying to do, it's easy. There's no question or no
If
second
any of
guessing.
you
It's
guys
just diving
saw the
in.
other show, Elite is the company that we were telling you that donated the dog for our patient, who Jackie hopped up right away. They're like,
I was sold.
we've got
I was
this.
sold.
Like, it was right away sold. We had tears in our eyes of her saying that we are a niche. We do have a small portion of the population, and it is hard to get other companies to care as much about our patients as we do. And instantly when that happened, it was like, I don't know what heaven you guys fell from, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
And let me tell you, that was the best experience. I actually dragged my husband on a Saturday. We went to the rescue center, and I got to tell you, we walk in the door, and there's like all these puppies, and I'm in heaven. I'm going, oh my goodness, how am I
many
not
do you
going
already
to
have,
take?
Jackie?
I have 4 puppies at home.
Soon to be fine.
Yeah, I now have 5.
Oh, no.
Recently, a friend of mine, basically brought home a little puppy, and I'm grooming her for greatness because she's going to end up with one of my children, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I definitely, we knew that the patient couldn't afford the fee to get the rescue puppy, and he needed it for, the prosthetic.
And that's what we were saying. We're like, we'll do this. And they were still even giving us these ideas like, oh, yeah, we can fundraise this way and fundraise. And she's like, can we just get the dog? We're like, absolutely. Like, what? It was
please,
just
thank you.
It
amazing.
was
just-
a beautiful
Yeah.
dog, by the way. What
Oh,
a
Blue- and
gorgeous
his name is
blue.
Blue. Yes, he
What
is
a-
absolutely adorable. And he's home. You've seen all the
Yeah,
pictures.
and he's
yeah.
training with Alpha.
He just got
right?
he came
Alpha
home
and
now.
Omega.
So he stayed with Alpha and Omega. They trained him at their facility, brought him home. He's leash trained. He won't be pulling Carl. It just is wonderful. And the fact that they helped give that gift to him, and his excitement, especially, I could never imagine. I've luckily have never gone through an amputation, and I try to hear so much from them and try and put myself in their shoes, and I could never imagine, but to see the look on his face, even your company going to help. He was blown away that all these people cared about him. It's just still like when he still calls, and he's cried to me many a times now, and it's just a beautiful experience and great story.
I say we add dog therapy to our brochure.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because that's
We've
therapy.
got dogs and we've got trainers, so yes, definitely.
Oh, we do.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It is try to pretend that my dog's therapy, but now he just runs away from me. He's like, people. Now I'm like, you're not even running to people. You're just running away from me.
He's just a puppy, though.
He's a puppy, yes.
He'll simmer down a little bit.
We'll take that as an
They're
excuse.
amazing, though.
And so I am gonna circle back to wound care a little bit more. And so then, how long does wound care typically last for a patient?
It depends.
It can vary.
Each-
Every patient is a
a trick
case
question.
by case.
Right. Exactly. Case by
And
case.
that's really what I wanted to kind of inform everyone is say, like, just because you thought it was going to be 2 weeks, like, there are these services in your home for a reason. This is not, you need wound care because this is something more complex than just a normal accident, a normal cut. And there's not
Oh,
this,
yes.
they're like, oh, they've had it for 2 weeks, we can stop.
Right.
No, not until they say,
Not until
There's
you're
all
healed.
types
Not
of
until you're
wounds.
healed.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
some will have will need to be on a wound vac.
vac.
Wound vac.
I was trying to think of the proper name, wound vac machine. Some just have regular wounds,
And they're categorized
depending-
by levels. So
The-
there's
exactly,
a level 1, a
that's the
2,
other-
a 3. Most assisted living facilities, if you get past a 2, you can no longer be in that facility or in that community.
Really?
So we have to really
work.
work hard to make sure that every wound is addressed and making sure that our nurses are going in there and doing the best job to get those wounds to a small, and eventually completely gone.
And that's huge for the amputee community too, because if they lost one leg, there's a very good chance if they have a wound and it's not healing, if it's diabetes, whatever the case, they're at risk always for losing the other leg. So if they
even
have a
their current
wound,
amputation.
yeah,
If
it could
that
go-
doesn't
It can move
heal,
up?
it
It
can move
up.
Oh, I see.
absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that is
And
something I'm
Sadly,
learning
a lot
today.
will start from a below knee, and because of that's why I said that I've had so many that they're like, well, I stopped doing it because it had been that long, and they went from a below knee to an above knee amputation because the jaundice was still inside. They weren't doing
It keeps
the right thing.
spreading
It
it.
got reinfected, and
all of a sudden you're
it grows.
So I learned something new because
Me
I
too,
thought
same
once
here.
an amputee was at a certain range,
Oh,
it would
no,
not.
that's-
Okay, so it can continue moving up.
Yes,
And then spread to the other side.
Yes.
One thing
Or-
I do want to point out that our nurses also do is they make sure that the patients are going to see their doctors,
Yes.
going back to the
Yes.
wound care, because I've had cases where the patients, for whatever reason, they're not going to their appointments. So our nurses being there, we're ensuring that they're going to their regular appointments
Absolutely.
to check on
And
those
we
wounds.
have fantastic home wound care physicians who we've partnered up with as well. So we have 2 or 3 different wound care companies that actually go out and see the patient or in the community
Right.
at their home, so they don't have to go into a hospital or hyperbaric chamber or anything. They can actually get the services done in their home environment.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing I hope you guys are all taking. And if there's one message for this evening, is medical services are available in your home. It is not broadcasted on television, and your hospital and doctors are not going to brag about it, but it is there. And I think it's going to turn into a much bigger thing now due to COVID, and I don't
Especially
think it is a
now.
bad thing. Our patients should be at home, and it's almost like going back to the good old days where the doctor showed up with his little bag, but people were well, and you get to find other situations by being in someone's home. I'm sure you've seen that, where you went to go take care of one thing, and you may
And
have
another.
noticed
Yes.
There's a
something
bigger
else,
issue
and
here.
now
There's
you're
a bigger
helping 10 times more, and you can't see that in the 10-second window inside of a doctor's
Well,
office.
even Kelsey and I just visiting some of our patients together, whether they were, they were orthopedic or then at the same time, her and I have gone to visit some of my patients because prior to COVID, that was something that I always wanted to do. I wanted to meet every patient. And Kelsey and I ran into a couple situations recently where we identified different issues and then got the doctor to give us a little bit of time and explain that a social worker would benefit this patient.
yes.
So, yes.
They're distracting us. That's when you know it's live. He said that a million times, like, it is live, guys. We're sorry about that. But that is, like, that's amazing in those stories. I hope, again, that everyone's hearing because that's what it's about. So even the physicians, and you guys have partnered with so many great doctors.
wonderful.
It's amazing. And they really have started to trust, and we're hoping with all these partnerships that we can build that more, is that what we're doing in the field, it's not just marketing and this stuff. No, we're trying to build partnerships in this community to help people outside of the facilities because it's a need and it is
Agreed.
there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Definitely.
And for the doctors, we're acting as an extension to their office because
Yes.
we, being in the home, we can kind of paint a picture of what's going on at home. So when the doctor meets with the patient, there's information
already know.
that they're not really aware of that we know.
Even just their medications.
Yes.
I'm like, when's the last
Oh,
time
yes.
you touched the pill bottle?
Medication management.
I'm like, it's never
Right.
been open.
That's a big,
I'm like,
that's a big
Yes.
one.
Hello,
Yes.
guys. I'm like, we need to, and we're not. That's why I love home care. That's why we love this partnership because it will never pretend to be licensed by any means. I just know that bottle's not open and there was a prescription date
Right.
on there. And
Right.
someone being in the home and seeing that could save a life in every second of the day, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
I'll let Jackie do it.
All right.
I got nervous
So-
last time.
No, we're going to take a short break and you will hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
And we have a special guest for you.
Oh, yes.
Many patients come into the emergency room ill, but not ill enough to meet the hospital criteria for admission. These patients may still need medical follow-up, which our company may provide at home with no cost to qualified patients. Our home health skills services can assist with patient medications, medication teaching and assessment of possible side effects. Provide in-home nursing assessment on any patient that you have concerns about, such as elderly patients living alone with limited support systems, or patients that you feel may not be safe at home. Provide patients after a recent fall with an in-home physical therapy evaluation to assess home safety and teach safe ambulation. Provide wound care. Provide disease-specific teaching, and much more. Medicare pays 100% of the cost with no copayments and no deductibles for qualified homebound patients. Call us for more information, 888-422-3578. Elite Home Healthcare Services.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's A-M-P, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Welcome back to the Elite Home Health Services Hour. I have Brittany.
And our special guest is here, guys. We have Connor from Advocate in Home Care. And Miss Lisa had to run. As we say, we are never off the clock. And a patient call came in. So she did say goodbye to everyone, but she did run out on us. But while I was learning about Connor and I was sitting here, I was like, what in the heck are you talking about? Advocate in Home Care. What's the difference? Because I know he's actually does a different aspect of care in home services. So everybody, here is Connor, and tell us about us. And yeah, go for it.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, Connor.
So thank you first for having me on. We're basically a continuation of what you guys are already doing and just kind of picking up where there's maybe some lapses of care. So Advocate is the largest nurse registry in the state of Florida, and we provide private in-home care to our patients. So, and that can be in home, in an assisted living, in rehabs. So basically we're helping with activities of daily living. So you guys are doing a lot of the skilled portion of things, wound care, you know, you're treating people for the amputees and all that, and we kind of pick up when they start asking your nurses for, hey, do my laundry, hey, I have some dishes. We're almost like they're picking up
happens,
that,
guys.
a lot.
It does.
And we don't mind. We know it needs to be done. It's just not one of the medical services.
So that's what we kind of provide is we are able to put people into the home. And what's really awesome about working for Advocate is because we have such a large nurse registry, we're able to really get these unique situations. I mean, you have people that sometimes want somebody who's a little more tenured and mature, or and can give a little more companionship, or somebody that's a little more lively and strong enough to help, you know, someone like an amputee transfer. So because we have such a large database and we've been in the Broward area since 2008, we're able to kind of really fit those unique situations. Especially, I know we keep talking about it with COVID going on right now. There's a huge nursing shortage in not just Florida, but the entire country. So because we have that registry and that database, we're able to really cater and help out you guys with the continuation of care that your guys' clients need there.
He was practicing, and now he's like, man.
So.
Now, how does someone get into this program? What does this entail?
The positive part is that we work together. So I do the
Another
Medicare,
partnership.
another partnership. But Connor and I have gone back about 3 years, and we obviously I do the Medicare skilled side where I'm, doing a chart review at the hospital or speaking with the doctor, and we're going in and providing skilled nursing, physical therapy, occupational, speech therapist. We also do aqua therapy. So now that the summer months are coming back, we are certified and we do aqua therapy in home. So if a patient has a pool or they in a community where they're allowed to use the pool, with the restrictions right now, we go in and the therapist does everything aquatically, which is
huge for
amazing.
Yeah,
amputees
I didn't
as
even know
well.
about that
helps
until
build
recently.
so much
Michaela
strength.
mentioned it when we were out
Absolutely.
together.
So
and-
the aquatic is definitely one of my favorite therapies that we provide. And then what we do is if the patient or family, we ask them a couple questions. Well, does the patient live alone? Does the patient need more services? We can do the Medicare side. When a patient or a family asks us, well, what about helping my loved one walk the dog or do laundry, or can you have your nurse prepare lunch? Well, obviously we're not able to do that under the skilled side. We call in Connor, and Connor with Advocate would go in and help the family, and you would basically set up a whole plan of what they need. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct, yeah. So my job, I'm a client care liaison, so I'm really kind of the conduit between you guys and the additional care that they need. So I'm able to go in and assess, I kind of view a lot of times what we're doing, we're trying to pair people together that are together at a minimum of 4 hours a day, all the way up to 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So you got different personalities together for long periods of time. So we try to fit people that it's almost like dating sometimes. You got to try a couple of care providers before you find the right one. So we help pair the right person in the home, and then we help them with any activity of daily living. So it could be dressing, bathing, going ahead and going to Publix, picking up some dinner, cooking meals. So anything that, there's lapses in, because we live in such a transplant area. A lot of people are down here, and people don't realize that mom and dad are having these issues until a company like Elite goes inside the home and realizes the living situation. So we're just kind of there to help aid the patient and just pick up where we can help out as far as whatever Medicare doesn't cover.
Now, if a person has private duty and as they're going, something happens, maybe they have a fall, are they able to receive home care again later, both at the same time? Does one stop and start?
No. So we work in conjunction together. So private duty and home health are a team. We can go in, we do everything that the skilled service that need, whether it's diabetic teaching and training, IVs, whatever we're doing on the skilled side, wound care, whatever, we do our part and it stays. Connor sets up his if I'm not mistaken, right? You set up, and it can be the same hours, it could be different hours. So if we know that our family is being serviced in the morning, well,
come
Connor
in the
can schedule in the afternoon, and he can set up a 12 to 6 visit, or whatever the family needs or
Right.
the patient needs.
Which that's amazing.
And
That
that's
helps
really
so
good
much.
for me to know too, because I knew all about everything home care could do, but I really wasn't as well versed with what private duty could offer. And I can definitely think of a couple of my patients that could really use some extra in-home care that is not necessarily
Right.
something, it's not therapy or what, just extra help. A lot of our patients, they are by themselves. They're living all alone and they need help, and that's just a really great service to offer and to partner with, because we're also in the homes. I mean, I'm sure we mentioned at some point, but South Beach is a completely mobile service. So I always meet my patients in their homes. Our practitioner, our counselors, everyone goes to the home as well, and we see a lot of these people in these situations like Jackie and I were talking about, and it's great to have that resource, somewhere that we can send them. Again, it's just kind of filling in that
Filling
circle
in the
of care.
gaps. It almost feels like we're
Exactly.
filling in the gaps.
And I was going to
Absolutely.
say, for the longest, I swear we were doing that like on our own, and it was so nice to start meeting people. Like, obviously, we know other companies, but we didn't know how to get to them. We knew that something existed, and it
Yes.
was like, okay, well, in the meantime, I'll just go get you your groceries, okay? No, you're not getting the donuts. No, that's not okay, but we'll get you the other things. And we didn't know that there was all. Kelsey just said it, guys. Like, I know that there's one family that's going to hear this and be like, wow, I can help my loved one from somewhere else.
Right. Whether we do the home care, you guys do the prosthetics,
Yes.
and Connor takes care of the private duty. So I think between just having all of us work together and really, like you said, closing in the gap, and we're all kind of trying to make sure that everyone is covered, especially our loved ones.
Well, and, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but we were talking about, living in these COVID times and how a lot of people are very apprehensive to go
You
into
can
a
beat that
hospital
dead
and
horse,
go
just so you
into a
know.
rehab.
We wish the horse would die. Like, that one, we wish we could get rid of that one.
But yeah, so when you have somebody that's already apprehensive to get the care that they need, and because they're afraid to be exposed to COVID, we're basically recreating the facility back in the home. So
Yes.
between having a CNA care.
That's a great way of putting that.
Yeah, so that's, you're recreating a SNF environment or a hospital environment between you guys, maybe a mobile physician, home health, and
Yes.
private duty. You almost have every aspect covered, so you can be in the comfort of your home, have the safety to know that, hey, these people have negative COVID tests, and you're not in an environment where you could potentially be exposed to COVID.
And your family can be with you. I mean, I
Yes.
think
Exactly.
that's the toughest
Yes.
part of COVID is that's why so many people are even saying, no, like, I just want to stay with my family, and your family can
And that's
not
an
talk to you through a
amazing
window.
point, because all of these other facilities, assisted living, the SNFs, they're closed off. If you're in there, you don't get visitors. You don't get that interaction with your family. You get FaceTimes and you get phone calls, but you don't get the that personal, that in-person
And
touch.
there's definitely a need for them,
And-
guys. We're definitely not saying anything along those lines.
No,
It is
of
just
course,
beautiful
but just
to
it's for those patients that it's
Don't
an
need
option
to.
and it makes sense. They're still covered.
absolutely.
So yeah, nothing against skilled nursing. It's just it's been tough
like,
because they
yeah.
I guess that kind of sounded bad, but like it's been tough because they haven't been able to the loved ones for good reason. It's
and
for
they're
a
taking
very
care
good
of our
reason.
COVID population even
And
more
they are,
so.
Right.
They are.
So,
Kudos. Thank you.
it's,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
So I don't. Yeah. I hope I didn't come off.
No,
like I was-
not, no, I think most of the conversation was just, yeah,
it's
not
just,
you. I was like,
but
wait,
it
let's say that.
does make things tougher. But it also it keeps people safe. So for those
Absolutely.
people that they maybe don't need that quite that level, they're still
Right.
going to get the care that they need, and that's an amazing.
And one of the
too.
things that Connor mentioned, and I have to chime in on it, we not only have physicians that do in-home visits, which they're going back to the basics. I have a whole plethora of doctors that are doing in-home visits. We have a transitional group that we work with at Elite. So the minute you come out of a hospital or a skilled nursing facility, that doctor is going to either make a phone call, or you're going to get a televisit, you're going to get an audio or visual, you're going to get someone checking to make sure that you have your doctor's appointment set up with your primary, because primaries are a little bit backed up right now with the COVID situation. The other positive is that we also have podiatrists that go out and do home visits. So if you are that patient who needs to have that home visit, we have 5 podiatrists groups that we work with in Broward County and Palm Beach. We also have wound care. I think I mentioned this before. We have different groups of wound care physicians and nurse practitioners that go out and do wound care. So just having those extra little home visits help, where the patient may not have to get the ride from the private duty to go in. They can go to the beauty, and get their hair done, or they can go somewhere else, because we can really facilitate where home visits are now coming into play.
Absolutely. And even her saying that with the having the podiatrist saying, I know we work with the amputees, but our goal is to prevent them. And that's such a huge thing, is like, well, we do get those phone calls like, oh, their toe's not looking. We're like, okay, let's get them wound care. Let's get them with their home care. This is not a one-time visit. This can escalate very easily. And it's, again, amazing to have that partnership, because we want to prevent. We want to take care of anything that happens, but we want to prevent as much as possible. I think all of us across the board, that's why we're here. Keep people safe and out of the hospital.
Absolutely.
And that being said, we were talking about it again right before break when Lisa ran out, and she was like, let's make sure we talk about our demographics. And the first thing out of Jackie's mouth when she talked about her age range was like, bing, because I think there's a huge misconception about a lot of services in the community, and anything to do with healthcare is supposed to be, oh, you have to be this age and older, and it's not that way anymore. So go ahead.
So we treat patients that are anywhere from the age of 18 years of age and up. So if you're a psychiatric patient or you're an end-stage renal patient, you could be in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. It does not mean that home care is just set up for your 65 and older. It's ever evolving and it's changing. So we have an ability to go out and see the 20, 30, and 40-year-olds that have these different conditions. Obviously, we are a Medicare certified agency, and you do have to have straight Medicare. But if you are a psychiatric patient who is taking a Haldol deck or an Invega injection, and you are on your own, or you're in a community where they're not going to be able to administer, we will come in and our psych nurse will give you that injection once or twice a month, or whatever the doctor prescribes. In the flip side, end-stage renal patients who do dialysis 3 times a week are also entitled to home health. A lot of them do not know that. So we try to do a lot of teaching, and we try to tell our certain doctors that have a lot of those patients that we are, our nephrologists are huge, and we try to educate them that those patients need that extra care. They're in the dialysis centers maybe on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, they are definitely struggling.
Yes, absolutely.
So.
I didn't realize that there was other options. Now, how do they bill through if it's Medicare and you're not of 65 and older?
So they are given Medicare.
Yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
patients
That's
don't.
big.
So if you are or have been diagnosed with a psych issue, whether depression, anxiety, schizoaffective, and there's many, many more, those patients are given Medicare.
Even
They go through a
disability.
disability process, but they actually end up with straight Medicare.
Yep.
And that is how they get their services, because those patients may need a little bit more than what you realize. They're going to be in and out of the hospital. They're going to be in and out of programs. And that is something that you want to make sure you identify.
And if any of these situations sound like you guys, like just saying that alone, there are ways to qualify and get Medicare and get assistance within insurance that I think the community, again, is completely unaware of. So
Right.
please contact either
Contact
one of
us.
us. Like, we will find it. If we can't, we'll find someone who will, without a shadow of a doubt, because it is there and it is very unknown. And we just want to spread that awareness and help as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
sad. And look at this, 4 people. And we're learning things left and
I know,
right.
and that's the funny
Did
part
you-
is like we're talking all about how there's the medical community doesn't know, and there's things that just
That
sit
we
in
That
here
we
that
don't
we
even
didn't
know,
know.
and we
know.
have to sit down and share. And
Right.
Yes.
Programs like this actually benefit not only us, but hopefully the community. And we're learning. I've learned a
Yes.
little bit about amputation tonight. Obviously, I'm very well versed with private duty, but I always learn a little bit more every time I'm here.
That was
So,
more for me.
Yes, that was more for
was more
Kelsey.
I even
That's
knew
the
some of the
learning,
answers to
but-
the questions, but I was like, I'm going to just get the answers come out that way. But even the EKG, that is like that's my biggest
Brittany's just,
takeaway.
like,
I'm
blown
not
away.
self- because you think about now all these different machines, and people go out to the homes, and they do now they can take X-rays in your house,
They
and
do.
they can do all these services, and that is amazing.
So
Like,
that is something we do. So we set that all up. So if you are,
don't you guys do?
oh, listen to that.
Prosthetics, no.
Yeah. But we don't do
Private
prosthetics
duty.
at private
The
duty.
one thing.
But if you have a patient and a doctor orders an EKG, obviously now our nurses can do it. But prior to that, we also do ultrasounds at home. We do X-rays at home, and we do labs at home. We use partners. So we have partners that actually go out and they're mobile diagnostics
Wow.
because we have homebound patients. So in
Right.
order for them to be on our service, many of them are homebound, no transportation, bedbound. We have all different situations. Paraplegics, I've seen it all. Vents, trachs. I mean, we've had everything you can imagine. In our patient population. So what we do is that we've aligned ourselves with different companies that do these mobile services. So if the doctor needs to order labs and you're not able to get to a Quest or a LabCorp or any one of your local labs, we actually have a company that comes out and does the draw at home, does the your analysis, and then on the flip side, we also do the X-rays and the ultrasounds and the Dopplers at home,
And that's all covered under their
all
insurance?
covered under Medicare.
Really?
I'm gonna
I had no
spin
idea.
this, and I know this is not what we were talking about, but as soon as you said vent and trachs, I mean, I remember skilled nursing and the difficulty it was to bring a patient in.
Right.
So if anyone's listening, can you, what are your services
So
for
we
them?
actually, the trach patient is a tricky situation
Yeah,
because they
absolutely.
have to have a pulmonologist that comes out to the home.
Okay.
We were fortunate. Our owners, again, are registered nurses. They worked locally in the hospitals for many years before they formed Elite Home Health about 9 years ago. And we recently, in the past year, had taken a patient from one of our favorite community hospitals that had been a trach and a vent patient. She was unfortunate. She came down, she was in her early 40s and had been in the hospital for 270 days before we were able to get her home. She was able to spend over a year at home. She was one of my favorite ladies. I've been out to her house multiple times. Her son and I were on 911 together. Like, we texted daily just to check on her. Again, it's not maybe a normal patient that we will take because, again,
It's
you
nice
have to
to
have
know.
all those different dynamics. You have to have pulmonologists willing to go to the house. In her situation, she had spent so many days in the hospital and just wanted to spend as much time as she could with her kids at home and her mom. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's
it was amazing.
And it speaks again to everything that we're saying about Elite. Like, there may have been a tough way to do it, but you got it done.
We figured it out. And like I said, that was one of my, and I will never forget her. She's one of my favorite patients. And I can tell you it was definitely, something that was tricky
Yeah.
to resolve. But, and everyone in the hospital was just beyond happy getting to see her walk, actually get rolled out. And we were there. It was prior to COVID, and we lined up. I had 3 of my reps, and I think Lisa, we were there at Broward General that day with Lisa as well. And we lined up on the sides and watched her get into the elevator and then followed her home. We were like her own little groupie club. And we had balloons, and we were so excited. So it was a really, really great experience.
And I mean, and that's like, going home from the hospital is everything, but and especially the health condition, that was not an easy feat. I mean, it's hard to get them to a skilled nursing, so to get them
Right.
home
Home.
that says everything right there. Just say.
But see, we could have definitely used Connor in that
I was
situation.
Yes.
going to say, so what about if someone is stable at home in some of these more severe conditions, do they still qualify? Like, if the family's just like, I want more help in the house, although they may have nursing, does that still, is there a qualification list, I guess?
No, not at all. I
Okay.
mean, it can be as simple as just having companionship. So, I mean, there's not a level of care that you qualify to have private duty. Now, the one thing that is unfortunate about my services versus Elite Home Health is Medicare, unfortunately, does not pay for private duty nursing care. So
Is
they're
disability?
No, not usually. It's usually majority of the time it's private pay, but
Okay.
there are are a couple of things out there.
Long-term, right?
Long-term
Long-term
care.
insurance.
Long-term care is one of the big
Because
things.
I'm like,
that
I know
pays
there's
for
a
it.
way, but how is it? So
Yep.
long term. Okay.
That, and then I heard you guys mention before when we were talking, there's also a benefit out there through the veterans. It's called the aid and attendance benefit.
Wonderful.
So that's another one. And then there,
That's good to know.
Medicaid as well is coming along as far as helping to supplement some of the costs of private duty. So there are a couple of forms out there, but that's one of the huge benefits that patients have with Elite is that having it covered there. So to go back to your question, there isn't a level of care that they qualify. The other great thing that we offer is we do skilled and unskilled. So we have HHAs, CNAs, LPNs, and RNs. So
Okay.
there's situations where Medicare might not pay for something, but maybe someone isn't able to administer medication. They're physically not able to. So we can send in an LPN or RN in for one visit and able to go ahead and take care of that for them.
All right. Well, I have to say, Connor, we're almost done with our hour, and it just flew by.
Yeah.
If somebody was
Always
going to
goes
reach
quick.
out to you, give them real quick. What number would they call?
Yes, so I service all of
Keep running
Broward
those
County.
numbers.
If you would live in the Broward County area, my phone number is 954-319-8508. If you live anywhere in South Florida or Southwest Florida, feel free to call our office at 954-788-4555. And thank you very much for having me on. It was
Thank you.
very,
Guys, I
educational.
appreciate everything.
Thank
and thank
you,
you, Brittany,
Jackie.
Kelsey,
Thank
you
Connor,
so
for
much.
coming on the show tonight.
Thank you guys. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thank you for listening to the Elite Home Healthcare Show. Elite Home Healthcare delivers care to you or your loved one in the familiar comfort of your own home. Medicare pays 100% of the costs with no copayment and no deductible for qualified homebound patients. Elite Home Health Services will develop an individualized plan of care to meet your specific needs. Skilled registered nurses and physical therapists will plan and implement your care, along with your participation and your doctor's guidance, assuring a plan specific to your needs. We'll make multiple visits to your home over weeks or months to make sure you are recovering according to plan. For more information, call us 888-422-3578. Join us for more information and news on our next show.
It's one thing to be aware of breast cancer.